right now.
First to win in court, and now all public schools in Bexar County ordered to mask up starting tomorrow. Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolf calling this a major victory in the fight against COVID-19 and the quickly spreading Delta variant.
And the new health directive requires students, visitors, and staff to mask up and schools to report COVID-19 infections. Some parents just getting the news say they're on board with the plan.
I think it's better, though, that they all wear masks.
Sí, la verdad sí es recomendable que se los vuelva a poner uno.
Parents outside South San High School reacting to the news that students, staff, and visitors will all now be required to mask up, not just in this district, but in all public schools across Bexar County.
I believe it's for their own good. I don't mind masks.
The move follows the ruling by a district judge who granted a temporary restraining order until Monday against the state of Texas, breaking the governor's ban on such safety measures.
The sense of urgency now, we're seeing the impacts on the local hospital system. We are mindful of the fact that there's a demographic, again, under the age of 12 that is not vaccinated, is not eligible as of yet.
The region's positivity rate stands at 21.4%, with 99% of the new cases being the Delta variant. Leaders say there's no time to waste. The mask order is effective immediately.
So what are the consequences for those schools that refuse to follow this mandate?
The expectation, obviously, is that there will be compliance. The best way to comply, frankly, is if you want to go to school, you'll have to have a mask on.
The new health directive also requires masks for anyone inside a city or county building. The governor issued a statement following the ruling, in part saying, quote, there have been dozens of legal challenges to the governor's executive orders, all of which have been upheld in the end. We expect a similar outcome when the San Antonio trial court's decision is reviewed by the appellate courts.
We said for a while now that the governor ought not to impede the local authorities' ability to keep this community safe.
On Monday, a judge will decide whether the mask mandate can stay in place until a case goes to trial. Pending that ruling, a mandate could expand to other entities in the county. The health directive also states rules about when one should quarantine. If a person is not vaccinated and was in close contact with a COVID-19 positive person, they should quarantine for 14 days after their last exposure. Fully vaccinated people should get tested 3 to 5 days after their exposure, even if they don't have symptoms, and wear a mask in indoor public spaces for 14 days. Fully vaccinated individuals don't need to quarantine. And this follows the CDC guidance. This can all come to a different shift when another round of schools are expected to welcome students back on Monday. We'll keep you updated.
Along with the rising positivity rate, more than 21% today, Bexar County is still experiencing a rise in cases as well. More than 1,300 cases a day, according to the 7-day average. 1,242 COVID-19 patients now hospitalized. 314 of those patients are in the ICU. 193 people are on ventilators tonight to help them breathe. COVID cases are continuing to rise across the state and here at home. Now local hospitals are trying to fill as many open positions as they can to help deal with the latest surge. Baptist Health System hosting 2 hiring events at North Central Baptist in Stone Oak and at Resolute Health Hospital in New Braunfels today. Attendees could apply in person for a variety of jobs and could get a sign-up bonus of up to $20,000. If you're looking for a job, we have a link to find available positions right now on KSAT.com. By the way, we spoke to Taryn Huff, the Assistant Chief Nursing Officer at North Central Baptist, and she tells us, quote, while the hospital's continuing to treat COVID cases, they are still delivering babies and performing emergency surgeries, end quote.
Well, parents may continue to have questions as more children head back to school. A pediatrician, teacher, and child psychologist can help answer those questions during tomorrow's back to school town hall. The KSAT community event will be live streamed on KSAT.com at 7 p.m. and will center around middle and high school students.
Into other news tonight, San Antonio police say they were forced to shoot. While their suspect was taken down, a mother was killed during a standoff at an apartment. Tonight, an affidavit also reveals what a child inside that apartment endured as an argument escalated into death threats. It all started at an apartment on Roosevelt back on July 26th. Police say the suspect, Angel Sanchez, threatened to kill himself and his common-law wife, Naida Tiarina. According to an affidavit, one of the children inside that apartment, an 11-year-old, could hear Sanchez hitting Tiarina. Investigators say Tiarina then told that child to call 911, but was forced to hang up after Sanchez threatened to kill the 29-year-old mother. The affidavit reveals Tiarina sent text to a relative who was able to then call police. Police say Sanchez confronted officers while armed and even pointed a weapon at them. Police fired at Sanchez, taking him down. Tiarina was apparently also hit in that gunfire. She died. Sanchez was taken to the hospital. Officers say he exposed Tiarina and the children inside that apartment to a substantial risk of bodily injury. He is now charged with Tiarina's murder and faces charges of unlawful restraint.
And we want to get you to some breaking news right now. Police called out to a crash involving a vehicle and a pedestrian. We can see a shopping cart with several items left thrown there in the middle of the street.
This is on the city's southwest side on Milvid Avenue and South Zarzamora streets. We have just learned a man was killed in this incident. There you see what apparently is the vehicle that hit the person. We're told it was a 55-year-old man. We'll continue to gather information, of course, have the very latest coming on up on GMSA in the morning. A cause of death released after a man was found dead in a burning apartment. Complications due to smoke inhalation to blame for the death of 38-year-old Gary Edward Davis. That's according to the Bexar County Medical Examiner. The apartment fire happened at the Fred Townhomes on Dartbrook Drive yesterday morning. One neighbor who tried to help found a door to the apartment already open. The cause of the fire still under investigation tonight.
A deadly encounter at a gas station. Police believe the victim in the case was shot in the face and managed to call his wife before he was pronounced dead. The gunman is still on the run tonight. Police say 57-year-old Juan Martinez managed to leave the gas station and get to a nearby Dollar General parking lot on East-South Cross near South New Braunfels. Paramedics found him and tried to save him, but were unsuccessful. A motive in this case has not been released. If you have information in this case, call police. A suspected drunk driver changing the lives of two families forever. We continue our coverage after hearing from the family of Daniela Lute, a nurse whose life was cut short after a crash on Saturday morning. Tonight, we're now hearing from the family of Diana Rubio, the second woman killed that day. Rubio's mother says she has no ill will against the suspected drunk driver. The night team's Japhanie Gray now with how her family is remembering the 26-year-old.
Yeah, she was strong. She was a caring person.
No matter how or what, we know Diana would not want us to feel angry.
Laura Rubio is one of two heartbroken mothers still trying to cope with the loss of their daughters. Her daughter was 26-year-old Diana Rubio. She died alongside 25-year-old Daniela Lute in a fiery wrong-way crash near I-35 in Walsham early Saturday morning. Lute was taking Diana home when San Antonio police say suspected drunk driver 58-year-old Ricardo Rodriguez crashed head-on into them, killing them on impact.
The best way for her to go, because we couldn't handle her suffering. Yeah.
Diana is described as a free spirit.
She didn't care what society thought, or if she looked weird, or if she sounded weird. She was gonna sing, she was gonna dance.
They say she had a kind soul and always had a smile on her face.
Love flew through her, like love traveled through her.
She's just beautiful.
Everybody loved her. It was her friends that had to fight over her.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Diana's loved ones say they want their loss of life to put a spotlight on a problem: intoxicated driving.
Just be responsible, be considerate of others. It's not always just you on the road.
But they also want her memories to inspire others to live life to the fullest. Her mother says, despite not having any ill feelings towards Rodriguez, she hopes he too learns a lesson.
He's going to understand that what he did to our beautiful, beautiful people could have been prevented. We shouldn't be here. We shouldn't be saying our goodbyes.
Now, Rodriguez still in the hospital with his injuries from that crash, but again, he's still looking at 2 counts of intoxication manslaughter. Once he's released, he'll be transferred right here to the Bexar County Jail. Japhanie Gray, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Japhanie. Daniela Lute's family plans to return to the crash site tomorrow for a memorial. Diane Rubio's family also plans to attend that service to meet Lute's family for the first time. You can hear from Lute's family in an article we have online. Our coverage continues on KSAT.com.
Pretty much on par today, temperature-wise, right near average. 96 in San Antonio, 100 in Del Rio, 101 Cotulla. Those were the hot spots out there. And today was one of the CPS Energy peak demand days. And according to CPS, we saved an estimated 212.7 megawatts of energy between 2 and 7 p.m. today. That's enough to power over 42,000 homes for 1 hour during the peak heating of the day. Tomorrow's going to be similar. We're going to talk about some changes as we get into the weekend, an introduction of some rain chances, tracking the tropics, and the Perseid meteor shower peak soon. I'll see you in a bit.
Thank you, Adam. More changes ahead for the Spurs. Coming up on the Nightbeat, we're going to take a look at the plans for the Silver and Black's new training facility and why the project could do more than just benefit the Spurs.
Plus, the Texas Supreme Court handing down a ruling that will impact the quorum-breaking lawmakers who fled Austin. Another set of civil arrest warrants now signed.
And a basketball game wraps up before gunfire begins. San Antonio police searching for their suspect. That story next on the Nightbeat.
A pickup game of basketball. The players ended up being the victims of a shooting. San Antonio police say this happened near Copernicus Park. 3 boys had just wrapped up a game when they were walking to an apartment complex on Lord when police say someone started shooting at them. One victim was hit in the arm and taken to the hospital. The others 2 were able to get away. Police say the bullets came from someone in a gray sedan, possibly a gray Malibu. That shooter remains on the run tonight.
The Texas Supreme Court now getting involved in an attempt to stop a Texas voting bill. Texas House Democrats continue to break quorum amid the second special session. Some in D.C., others left the area but continue to break quorum elsewhere. Well, a state district judge prevented quorum-breaking Democrats from being arrested while they were in Texas. Today's ruling from the state's high court temporarily reverses that decision, allowing for those arrests if those lawmakers return to Texas. The Texas Tribune reports the House Speaker signed civil arrest warrants for 52 House Democrats. Those warrants expected to be delivered to the Sergeant of Arms tomorrow morning. The break in quorum means the election bill can't be passed, along with several other agenda items. Democrats say that election bill would add restrictions for a lot of Texas voters.
He's accused of sexually harassing 11 women. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo resigning in a live public address today. This after serving nearly 3 terms in the leadership role. Cuomo saying he doesn't want to be a distraction after the state attorney general's report regarding the sexual harassment investigation. Cuomo apologizing for any misinterpretation or offensive behavior, but called the AG's report unfair, untruthful, and politically motivated. He could face potential misdemeanor charges in Albany stemming from a criminal complaint filed by a former executive assistant. Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul will become the first female governor in New York history.
The nation's largest active wildfire not slowing down. The Dixie Fire growing about 5,000 acres in California since Monday. Nearly 900 homes and commercial buildings damaged. Flames threatening more than 16,000 others. There are also concerns about the air quality.
I was definitely feeling it in my lungs, in my eyes. When I got home, I took a nap because my eyes were so tired from being outside all day.
I'm not going to go paddleboarding now. No, I definitely don't want to expose myself too much to extra particulates.
The firefighters were able to make some progress overnight. Now they're bracing for possible thunderstorms that are expected later in the week.
Temperature's pretty pleasant out this morning. Very nice to be outside. There was a light breeze that made it just really comfortable.
You're talking about this morning?
Yes.
Because then it
just went downhill after that.
The breeze was nice. Yesterday and today, we had that southeasterly wind, steady around 15 to 20 miles per hour. So that was helpful. And of course, was just our typical August heat. We made it well into the 90s, 96 the high in San Antonio. Now going forward, it's still going to be pretty quiet around here the rest of this weekend. To start the weekend, Perseid meteor shower. I want to touch on that. It's every year this time of year, but it does peak tomorrow night. And then we are tracking the tropics, a little system out there that we're watching as it heads toward the Gulf of Mexico. First, Perseid meteor shower. This is the time of year in August. For about a 2-week span, you can see more meteors than usual in the night sky because we have the Perseids, and they peak Wednesday night through Thursday morning. Usually the best time to view them is shortly after midnight. You look off to the northeast and start looking upward in a perfect spot. And I stress perfect, meaning Big Bend National Park, West Texas, right? Perfect spot, zero light pollution. You could see up to 1 meteor per minute. We won't be anywhere near that in San Antonio. And I'll be honest, anywhere within 1604 and especially 410, you'd be hard pressed to see a whole lot of them. You really have to get outside, away from all street lights, headlights, any kind of house lights, and then let your eyes adjust for about 15 to 20 minutes as you just look up into the sky. You need a little bit of patience, so just a few tips as you go venture out and check out the Perseids. Heck, even later tonight you can go look off to the northeast, see if you see any out there. You still could. We're pretty close to peak. We had a few showers in far west Texas today. That's good. That's part of Texas where we still could use some moisture. It's nice to see it. It's the 1% of Texas where we're still in drought near Big Bend National Park. You look at the big picture across the nation, it's good to see some rain in neighboring New Mexico and even Arizona. They're drought stricken. There's some swirls out there. There's even been some severe weather in the Great Lakes area, but no big dominant weather feature. No big trough, no huge ridge. Often this time of year, we have the big blue H upper level high with that clockwise circulation. That's just not the case, at least not right now. In the days ahead, I think we'll start to see that establish again, just not directly over us. So Tropical Storm Fred, the newest storm of the 2021 Atlantic Basin season. Max sustained winds, 40 miles per hour. Very low end tropical storm. It's going to be making its path to the west northwest, and it's going to be interacting a little bit with the islands. So we don't anticipate a lot of intensification here, and especially not rapid intensification. But by the weekend in the eastern Gulf of Mexico, and now it does look like it could strengthen a bit once it gets into the Gulf. Usually the Gulf has fairly favorable waters for strengthening and then veer northward. And right now, most likely go away and steer away from all of the entire Texas coastline. Let's talk temps. Right now we're at 83, dew point is 67. Feels like 85. Bernie's at 79, Bulverde 80, 83 Stinson and Rio Medina, an even 80 degrees. I often point out Del Rio because they're usually the hot spot. Right now, Del Rio at 92, Cotulla 87, New Braunfels 81. Tomorrow, we'll start the day in the 70s, about 77 in the morning. Some of those low clouds early in the day to start, and then making it up to 96 by the afternoon, a southeasterly wind at 10 to 15. Along the Rio Grande, back up to triple digits. You get to Leon Springs, 95, Converse, 97, Castroville, Hondo, about 95 the high. Tomorrow is another CPS peak energy demand day, so try to reduce your usage between 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. Notice rain chances are back in the picture by Sunday. Some afternoon pop-ups, and that'll be the case early next week.
It says 96. It might as well be 100. It feels like it just feels like
but I kind of like it that we haven't hit it yet.
Yeah.
All right. I love it. The Spurs apparently need some new digs, Greg.
Well, it's been in the planning stages now for a couple of years, and today they actually got the green light on the county's investment. But it's more than just a Spurs new facility. It's quite the development. When we come back, we'll talk about that and how much the county is putting into it. And also at the same time, Hard Knocks comes calling on the Cowboys. Spurs Sports and Entertainment CEO R.C. Buford appearing before Commissioner's Court today as Bexar County is poised to invest $15 million into a human performance campus off I-10 and 1604 that will include a new training facility for the Spurs. The development would also include a 22-acre park for the public, an outdoor plaza, and commercial and medical offices on a 504,000 square foot complex. Would also include retail and restaurant space. The total cost of the project is estimated to be close to $511 million.
Building a campus where thought leaders from around the world would come together to optimize and develop and research human performance across cognitive performance, physical performance, social performance, organizational performance, creative arts performance. And as we were visioning our next generation training environment, my dream was, why not do this here for San Antonio, for our community?
All right, this project was discussed starting in 2019. Planned to break ground on it this fall. It would have replaced the current Spurs training facility located off of Huebner Road that was built in 2002. The Admiral David Robinson checking out the young Spurs in the Summer League action tonight, but they would be without first-round pick Josh Primo, who sat out due to a coach's decision against the Bulls. Last year's first-round pick, Devin Vassell, knocking down the jumper to give the Spurs an early lead before he left the game in the second quarter with tightness in his right hamstring. Trey Jones helping the Silver and Black build a 22-point lead in the first half, only to watch it fade away in the second half. Spurs down 4 with a minute and a half to play. Malik Newman gives the Spurs some life with a corner 3, but the Spurs could not close down the stretch, and they fall 92-89.
Pro football coverage powered by Davis Law Firm.
I think this is the first year. This is the first year we exchanged gifts. Who is it? What you doing, man? Actually at the combine.
Hard Knocks at the Cowboys training camp made his debut on HBO tonight, taking us behind the scenes in Oxnard, where they caught up with running back Ezekiel Elliott, who was attempting to wrap a present for his quarterback Dak Prescott when Dak made that unexpected visit to his room. That's after, you may remember, Zeke was the one who pushed Dak's face into his birthday cake. Houston Texans kick off their preseason this Saturday night when they travel to Green Bay to take on the Packers, but quarterback Deshaun Watson is not expected to travel with the team for the game. It's according to the general manager, Nick Caserio, despite the fact he had returned to practice on Monday after being absent for unknown reasons for the past 5 days. Watson is facing an NFL investigation and 22 civil lawsuits accusing him of sexual assault and misconduct during massages. Combine that with what Watson is demanding to trade, and his future in Houston is at best shaky. When pressed, Texans new head coach David Culley wouldn't confirm Watson's status for the preseason opener.
Well, like I said before, we it's day to day with him, and he'd been out for a while, and he was back today, and we're just taking it day to day as it has been from the start of training camp.
What goes into the decision about whether or not someone travels to a preseason game?
Well, we haven't made that decision yet on who all is going to travel and who all is not going to travel. We're going to make that decision probably around Thursday, and go from there with it.
All right, big game coverage previews take us to Somerset High School, and volleyball has already started. Next. Our big game coverage previews take us to Somerset High School, which is home to the Bulldogs. Coy Detmer takes over the head coaching duties from his late father, Sonny Detmer. Welcomes back 12 starters, 7 on offense, 5 on defense, of a team that finished just 2-7 last year, 1-3 in District 14 4A Division I. The Detmer legacy continues for the Bulldogs as Coy's son, Cole Detmer, returns as quarterback after throwing for over 1,300 yards and 13 touchdowns last season.
Really excited coming back here to Somerset. Had some great years before, and excited for this group coming up. And of course, it's Cole's senior year in that group. And I was elementary PE teacher here before, and so coached those kids when they were younger.
To me, it's no different, regardless of who the coach is. Out here, he's my coach. He's not my dad out here. Really, it's just no different.
I always thought it was a little tougher to have your dad as your coach. Anyway, Somerset will kick off their season Friday, August the 27th at home against Brackenridge at 7:30. High school volleyball season already underway. Defending Class 6A regional champs Reagan opening up against O'Connor at Littleton. Rattlers up 2-0, but the Panthers keeping it close. Mackenzie Marr drills one down the middle to pull OC within 2. Reagan responds though. Katie Hill rips one right through the defense. Rattlers win the set 25-17. The match 3-0. Same venue earlier in the evening. Johnson taking on Harlan. First set is a close one. Hannah Spencer sets the tone at the net with a spike off the dig and out. Jaguars up by 5, but the Hawks stay within striking distance. Mariah Thomas gets the one-handed dump shot to fall. Harlan drops the set, but comes from behind to win the match 3-2. We'll have all the highlights from also Clark, Jefferson, and St. Mary's Hall on our website, KSAT.com, later tonight. The school, in some cases, they haven't even started school yet, and they're already competing in volleyball.
Yeah, and big time with all those schools you have highlights.
Big names, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Greg.
All right, thanks, Greg. We'll be right back.
Tomorrow, back up near 96, 97, another KSAT and CPS Energy peak energy demand days to try to lower your usage between 2 and 7 p.m. The temperatures don't change much for the next 7 days.
Just meteor showers, not rain
I know
showers.
you'll be looking up when you're going home today.
Yeah, maybe. GMSA at 4:30.
Have a great night.